What's up? This is Sam Heights, and you're checking out Track Stars on Dynamic Producer TV, Dynamic Producer Television. With us this evening, we got producer Miykal Snoddy, up and coming, super producer in the making, pretty much, man. I've seen the resume. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself, kind of like the works you've done, bring everybody like up to date on who you are and what you do, man.
Basically, I'm from Chicago. Moved to Atlanta maybe about 7 years ago. Just been putting in some work here and there. I've done songs with Jamie Foxx. That was one of my first placements, Three-Letter Word. And then from there, a partner of mine at the time was No ID. And we were working on a lot of things together. We did some rhyme fest, some rap stuff, a couple other things. Did some Keys on a Ply song. And then from there, moved on. The most recent stuff is, just been working out for me. Did a Dirty Money song, Love You No More, and, Lupe, just trying to keep them rolling, man.
Right on. I noticed you said you're from Chicago. I think I read that are you in Atlanta right now? Is where you're based at?
Yeah, I'm in Atlanta right now. It's hot down here.
Man, I feel that. I'm in Austin, Texas, bro. It's like blazing every day in the summer, man. Let's talk about that move you made to Atlanta. I think I read you were kind of jumping around before that, like New York, Chicago, and whatnot. How important do you think that is for kind of up-and-coming producers to land in the city or make that move to a city where they, you can kind of make your stamp and reach out and network to people?
I think it's pretty important. I won't say it's absolutely necessary because I think it's good to be good in your area and branch out where you are. But for me, I didn't have a lot of contacts. And as some people in Chicago tell you, it's kind of a crab in the bucket mentality out there, just a little bit with some people. So it's like you can do a lot of networking, but you still got to have a network of people that branches outside of Chicago. And I think when I came to Atlanta, I was able to get my hands on the rest of that network, and that's where things started to turn around for me and flourish and work out.
Right on, bro. And then your musical background, I know you're not just like a beat maker per se, man. I know you got a lot of classical training. Tell me a little bit about that, like, what all you're fluent in, what instruments and whatnot.
Really, music for me started classically, really. My main instrument was the violin. That's all I really played for about 6-7 years, and I started playing classical piano. This was all the way until maybe my freshman, sophomore year of college is when I started to branch out and started to try to get into more actual music production. Because I only knew how to read music. Improvising and coming up and creating was new for me. It was kind of a challenge. But after I started experimenting, I liked it, and then I started branching out to making my own things, drums and stuff of that nature, and just took it from there.
Now, how do you think that kind of helps you versus like the average? I hate to use the term, but like just say the average beat maker, or whatever, that's maybe starting out. I mean, you got like all this experience and background, you got all this music theory and whatnot now. You probably work with some producers that don't have that. How does that compare? Like, is it just more fluent for you when you go in the lab or what?
Yeah, when I get in the lab, it's easy to kind of catch feels and manipulate certain feels in music. And when I say that, I mean, for instance, sometimes when I'm working with other producers, they'll play, for instance, a string line, make it real movie, or you play way too many notes. But if you really think about it, in orchestra, there's maybe 6-7 different instruments or classes of instruments playing different movements. So you wouldn't necessarily play a straight chord movement like a piano style with the strings. It's a certain way you got to play them. And I think from playing classical instruments, I know how all the instruments play and what type of movement that they play to make it sound authentic when I make my music.
Gotcha. And what are you using to make your sound right now, man? What tools are you using for production?
I'm using anything I get my hands on. Most I'm using Logic 9. I was using Reason before that, so I kind of in between and use Reason and Logic together now. And now, of course, I started off on the MPC 3000 when I did start. That lasted a few years, and then everything went digital, so I had to start over and figure that out.
All right, I got kind of like a personal question because I read that you're a Reason head, and now you're using the Logic. How do you get like that full sound out of Reason, man? Like, what's your method for that?
Out of Reason?
Yeah.
I ended up having to start getting into the compressors and tweaking my kicks and compressing things like that. And then I started messing with panning And then a big thing, and this is coming in where you were talking about having an advantage of the instruments, I layered a lot of my instruments. I layered keys with guitars or keys with rows right under it, and you make it sound a little wider when you pan those to the left and right. So it was just more so the correct instrumentation gave it the right openness. Everything had its own space; it could breathe.
Yeah. What about the Logic? Are you using any kind of? Oh, well. Before I do that, man, back to the reason. Is there any like specific refills that you're just using that like are just like, man, those are just sounding amazing, or what?
You know what? I had a partner that gave me about maybe 30, 40 gigs of sounds in Reason, and I started looking at them. I got lost. I just got so lost that I got frustrated, and I started using the factory sounds. So a lot of the songs that's been out, I've been using the factory sounds, and I just kind of been tweaking either just a little bit here and there on the factory sounds. I haven't even been touching the refills. I have some, like there's a good bass slide one. I forget the name of it. Oh man, I forgot. But other than that, I've been using factory sounds. I hate to say it, but I'm stepping my game up now in Logic. I got some good drums. Let me take that back. I do have some good drums that I've just been collecting from here and there. But refills, there's a couple string ones that I like, but I just haven't used them yet.
Right on, man. So you're doing the whole sound design thing. That's impressive, dude, because I know like there's so much tweaking you can do in Reason, but to get it that full sound, man, you gotta mess with it. So
yeah, that's what it is. You know, you just gotta mess with it, keep tweaking with it, and you'll find the sound. And once you got it, you can run with it.
Well, so talking about Logic, I know we do have a lot of members that use Logic as well. Are there any like specific, aftermarket VSTs or anything like that you're using in that, perhaps?
Oh yeah. I'm definitely, of course, using Battery with the custom drums that I put together, the spicy ones. Then I got Omnisphere. I like some of the sounds in there. Nexus is good. I love the Rhodes and the Lounge Lizard. I forget who makes that series. My man just hooked me up with some of these Alicia Keys pianos and things I'm starting to get into. I like them, but I haven't used them on anything that's came out yet. But from there, it's got Symphobia, has some great strings and stuff in there. And pretty much those are the ones I've got into so far. I'm still kind of making my way through that as well.
Yeah, man, 'cause I'm trying to make the jump to using Pro Tools specifically for just production too, just to get so I can mess with those VSTs, because everyone that uses Reason, no, man, you can't. That's one thing it lacks, is you can't use the VSTs unless you're rewiring or something. So I always like to see what cats are using VST wise, because I'm still kind of new to that. Next question, man. There's a question I always kind of like to ask all the producers, man, just so cats can kind of get a behind the scenes business aspect of the going-ons and whatnot. Kind of like, who's your people behind the scenes that you have working for you, man? Like whether it be management, just A&Rs that got your back, specific names or companies that kind of help you along the path in your career.
Well, right now, this current time, I'm using management by a guy named Ron. He's in the system over at Universal doing a lot of things. But then my manager's named Tashawn Gale, and I'm also using Tango, who is the guys at Compound Entertainment, who also handle Neo as well. So that's part of the reason me and Neo are getting in and doing a lot of collabs lately, because we have the same management, and they're real good with putting business in perspective and getting what you're worth and keeping you working.
Oh man, let's talk about is that how you got? I know you had some work on the Diddy album, man, Loving You No More. So how did that kind of come along, and what was your particular role in that track?
With that one, that was really a track I had put together maybe 05, 06.
Oh, right on.
An idea I put together, and then I got with Sean Garrett. We got in the studio, me and him, just vibing out, put the track on. I wasn't even gonna play it for it at first. I kind of was like, this is old, man, and So I played it for him, and he's standing up on chairs, he's jumping around. We looking like, what? Next thing I know, we came back like a day or two later, and he played Loving You No More, and I was like, holy smokes, man, this is it. So, and then from there, it was just a song we had sitting for a second, and we were getting ready to, I think, do it with Mario, and then Diddy came and put his inspiration on it, his touch, and he turned it into a masterpiece, and that's kind of where the digital age took over. We sent it to Miami. He did his thing, But really, it all started with me and Sean. We crafted that.
All right, man, that's crazy. That's amazing. And that's I guess another story that we kind of hear from time to time is people that maybe have a beat or track that's sitting for a couple years, but then someone else hears it and they just oh man, that's the first time they're hearing it, so they just fall in love with it. Let's talk about the one that's in rotation right now. I know it's out here in Austin, man. The Lupe track with Trey Songz. What's the story behind that, and how did that specifically come together, man?
That was an experience right there. That initially happened. I initially came up with the show, the track, the beat, basically, the idea, and then from there, I got with Daryl Jones of Atlantic and Lupe. We went to New York. He laid down his verses. We went to the studio with a legendary producer, Jerry Wonder, and he was able to bless it with the bass guitar in it. Everything was great, vibing. So, the song was done afterwards. I think Daryl had Jerry guys came up with the idea for, man, Trey, this would be a smash. So everybody was with it. Everything in the process was good. So we shot it to Trey. He did his part. I think he was in LA at the time. He sent it back. Next thing I know, I heard it, and it was a smash. It was kind of scary how fast it happened, but it was a real easy thing, though.
That's technology, man. So did you actually get to work in the studio with Lupe for that first part, or was it you just did the track and he recorded on his part?
What happened was I got the track to Daryl, and we were looking for a hook. We was looking for a hook for a little while, and then once we were able to actually get a solid hook together, that's when I went to New York, met with Jerry. Lupe flew in, he was there, had his verse, he laid his verses down at that point. That's when we all met. I had met Lupe way back in the day in Chicago. This is back, I was whack on the tracks. It was just, a face, but it was cool to run back into him in New York with Jerry, put another Chi-Town face with another Chi-Town face, lay down the verses. It was sounding classic at the time. Even the demo was sounding good. So from there, once they put Trey on, it was already a wrap, because it was hot before he even got on there. So it was definitely hot. When Drake put his little two-step on it.
Yeah, man. Trey's definitely killing the game right now as far as R&B goes. So is Lupe, man. That new album is really dope. So let's talk about you and what you're doing, man, as a producer. I know you got your own company, Make It Hot. What it all is Make It Hot doing, and what's the goal with that?
Well, what I've been trying to do basically is, I'm getting placements here and there, and I'm glad that some of the placements have been doing well, because I went to Australia, found me an artist down there by the name of Selwyn. I might be putting him out soon. There's another girl from Chicago who's a great singer by the name of Sandy. I think I might do something with her. And there's a couple of others I'm considering, but I really want someone that's going to be able to take music a little further, because the type of music I like to do, I won't say it's experimental, but I like to push the envelope. Yeah. And I think having a new artist or a new vehicle is exciting, because there's no boundaries or there's no pigeonhole put on them. They can kind of do whatever sound they like, and they'll accept it. So now that people are starting to hear a little bit of my sound and my records, I really want to take it a step further and do some things that people haven't heard. Give them a chance to hear it with a new face or an old face. But that's really kind of where I want to push it and take it the next step.
Gotcha. And so I noticed you're talking about artists. Are you guys, or is your company, I guess, looking for songwriters and producers as well? Is it just strictly kind of just artists at the time being, or what?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely looking for definitely songwriters, and I'm working with some producers as well. I haven't signed any writers, producers yet, because I wanted to make sure I had a good op for them, and now is that time. So definitely look for writers. I've been working with producers. I haven't signed any, like I said. We've been kind of doing more co-producing. If I run into somebody that has something hot, like shout out to guys, Darty Music Group. I did a hot joint with them, man. I know they're affiliated with you guys.
Yeah, I actually got to interview with them later next week, I think, man. So definitely.
Yeah, them is the homies. We did I got on with a record with them that Neo wrote actually for Estelle. That's about to be crazy. Yeah, it's about to be smoking. So, so it's more so when I love networking with people. I just don't necessarily lock people down. I like to get in and let the music flow first. And then if it gels right, then we'll talk paper.
All right. So do you have let's talk about being a producer, man. It's always good to have all these relationships with songwriters. Do you have any go-to songwriters that you're constantly going to at the moment, or?
You know, there's a couple new writers out there I like, but the one I've really been getting in with Neo a lot, doing a lot of records with him, try to get my catalog up with him. But there's a couple new writers I've been getting in here and there, but it's kind of been scattered. You know, with the situation on Compound, it's just been flooding me with Neo and some of the writers that they have in their camp as well.
Right on. Let's talk about, I mean, you got a lot of experience in the music industry up far, man. Is there any kind of like one lesson or one story you got for producers, kind of just so they can, almost like an experience you had to where you want to pass that down to them to be like, you know, let me pass this story to you so you don't make the same mistake or you don't do the same thing I did, kind of miss that step. You can just skip that altogether. You know what I'm saying? Lesson learned, so to speak.
Let me think. Yeah, I've had a few things happen here and there.
And you ain't got to throw anybody under the bus, no names or anything. If you ain't get,
that's really why I'm hold. Like, I gotta say this the best way.
Yeah, definitely.
The best political way without. Oh man. Really, I would say is if you know, I would say is, and it's the same thing with me. Is if you have confidence in your work, even really that's the main thing. Have confidence in your work, because you know for a long time, even now, sometimes I won't play a beat, or I won't go into a session and play my music because I won't feel like it's quite ready. In all honesty, it could be ready. It all depends on the ear who hears it, the writer who hears it, things of that nature. So really, I was calling myself so much, starting to be a producer and stuff like that, but I wasn't aggressively even putting my music out there. I just had good beats in the computer, so I wasn't doing my networking. So really, what I found out is that networking is just as important as the music. I would like to say music, surpasses all that. If somebody hears something hot, and it does. If somebody hears something hot, it's going to go. But if you don't talk up behind it, let your music be known, or put your foot up and say, hey, I got this, it'll just be sitting, you'll be that tree in the forest that doesn't make any noise. So really, I say if you got something hot, you need to stand up and show it, and your aggressiveness will show how hot it is before they even press play. And for a long time, I was lacking. I wasn't even playing my music for people. I just had it, felt good about it, but didn't play it for anybody. So now that's changed.
No, I got you, man. I definitely appreciate you dropping that, Jewel, because that's one of the things I dealt with just when I used to go to the conferences early on, man. And that's something I try to instill, or not only me, but the whole staff. We try to get all the members, when we go to these conferences and they play their tracks for panels, kind of stand up, make yourself known, be the face to remember. Don't be so shy in the crowd. But it is kind of like you're intimidating at first. You're coming in the industry. Yeah. There's some pretty intimidating people in there, man.
It is. But I've seen people that were, I won't say not as talented as me. They're good, but the music I may not felt it was as great at the time, but they were much louder. They were hopping, doing jumping jacks, and next thing I know, they're on because that's what you saw. And you see this nowadays when you see the Lady Gagas and people that shock and awe, and you see it, you pay attention to it, and then you find out it's good after you pay attention to it. And then there's the win. So I think it's kind of has to go hand in hand with the music.
Cool, man. Well, like I said, we don't want to take up too much of your time. I definitely appreciate you coming through this evening, man. Is there any kind of final last words you want to give to people, or any last shout outs you want to promote, anything that you're working on?
Oh man, I just got a lot of surprises coming. I like for the music to come up and surprise you. So just definitely stay tuned. There's some stuff coming, and so just keep the name in mind, and there'll be some things coming your way real soon.
Definitely, man. Appreciate it. Again, this was Sam Heights with Dynamic Producer, where we help producers make better music, learn the business, and advance their careers. For more information, you can always check us out, www.dynamicproducer.com. And again, Miykal Snoddy, man, appreciate you coming through, bro.
Thanks. Shout out to Dynamic Producer. I love what y'all doing, man. It's hot.
Right on.